What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Littleroot Laddering. So, as we've mentioned at a couple weeks back with the Plus Level Mine-In video, the goal for this season is to record a laddering video with every new Pokemon that came in Regulation F. That includes some not-so-great Pokemon, such as Meganium, and some pretty great Pokemon in the forms of Entei. I have a team here from Notas VGC, better known as Nate Innconetti, who years ago, at my first regional, I lost to him playing Meganium, who I believe is his favorite Pokemon. I could be wrong about that, but I'm 99% sure his favorite Pokemon is Meganium. So when I saw that it was coming back to the DLC, I messaged him on Twitter and said, hey, I need a sick Meganium team. What do you got for me? And so a couple days later, he sent me this, and this seems really cool. There's a lot going on here, so let's get to it. First off, we have pretty standard mons here of like Chien-Pao, Rillaboom, Landorus. Not really going to talk about them here. The things we are going to talk about are Clefairy, which is not something that we have seen a lot of in Scarlet and Violet. So we have Helping Hand, Follow Me, Life to Protect, with Eviolite and Friend Guard. Clefairy is just like the truest of cleric Pokemon that you've ever seen. It's going to prevent things such as your sweepers from taking hits with Follow Me. It's going to increase their damage output with Helping Hand and keep them a little healthier with like Life Dew. Between Life Dew and Friend Guard and Grassy Terrain, we have just a ton of incidental recovery and like damage prevention on this team, as well as like natural bulk of like Meganium and Entei having its Assault Vest here as well. So past that, like Clefairy is just a very unique Pokemon. Notably, we don't have a damaging move on this Clefairy, so if we get taunted, we're going to be sad. But that's fine because, like, who cares if Clefairy gets taunted? The core of Chien-Pao Entei is something that has popped up quite a bit. Entei is just kind of doing what Dragonite has done historically, but better because Entei hits really hard thanks to, Stab Sacred Fire and Terra Stab Extreme Speed. And then, with like Stone Edge and Snarl, we also just have like good damage output options there as well. Pairing that next to Sword of Ruin here on Chien-Pao means that Entei is just going to be able to hit absurdly hard. And I'm very excited to try out Entei today. But I think the true all-star, and like the reason this video is being made is Meganium, right? Because like Entei Chien-Pao, that can go on 100 different teams and go 100 different ways. But why Meganium? Because we get Grassy Glide now, which is so cool. So with Swords Dance, next to Clefairy, we're going to hopefully be able to get a Swords Dance up, pivot the Clefairy out, bring in Rillaboom, click Grassy Glide, and just be able to do a ton of damage that way. In the event that Meganium does take a few hits, puts us into Overgrow range, we're able to get extra damage off that way. Thanks to Terra, we are immune to Burn, thanks to being Terra Fire here, and thanks to Clear Amulet, we're immune to Intimidate. So Meganium is able to hopefully set up at least one, if not maybe 2 or 3 Swords Dances, and then just go to town. Grassy Glide is awesome. We've seen it historically on Rillaboom, and we've seen it here lately on like things like Ogerpon. So being able to give it to another Pokemon such as Meganium, even though it has not the greatest attack stat, being able to give it a single Swords Dance means that suddenly Meganium is going to be able to do a ton of damage. So I'm very excited to try this out. Before we get too much farther, please go follow Nate on Twitter and Twitch. He's been streaming a couple times a week over there on his channel, so make sure you go check him out. His stuff is great, and he genuinely is a pretty great person overall. So let's jump on in to laddering today and see what we can do. Okay, interesting. Raging Bolt. We got Raging Bolt over there. We got Water Wellspring Ogerpon. We got Grimmsnarl. This seems actually really interesting. I really like what our opponent's got going on here. The big thing is I feel like this is going to be screens on Grimmsnarl, and I don't really have a good way of like stopping that. I guess my best option is I can do like Rillaboom plus Landorus up front here to be able to potentially take out a Grimmsnarl if they do lead it. Plus, Landorus looks really good into like their entire team. Between Sludge Bomb and Earth Power, we're able to hit everything for super effective damage here. Outside of exactly their Landorus, which is where I think Entei plus Chien-Pao can come in. Notably, their team is pretty physically offensive with like Ogerpon and Rillaboom and Ensign. So we do need to be wary of that with Chien-Pao. But I think I like the rest of what we got going on here. I really do think this is just going to be like an Entei end game and just like clean it up. So the idea here is basically wall break with Landorus and then sweep with Entei Qianpao in the end game. So in theory, that seems really cool. I think with them having like Raging Bolt, Meganium doesn't line up great into that. We do have Stomping Tantrum on it, so maybe that was a consideration. But I'm really not a fan of their like them setting screens. I think would be problematic for Meganium. So they could try to like Calm Mind here. Which if they do, I kind of don't care. I think my goal is just... I could sub. I think subbing is actually really bad, though. I think I just want to Sludge Bomb the Grimmsnarl, go for a Fake Out into it. They pivot out, I don't really care. They are just going to Terra immediately. They're not defensively tearing on the Grimmsnarl, so I don't really care about this Raging Bolt doing its thing. Could be Terra Blast. We Terra Water, Terra Blast coming out from that. But like you just Terra Watered in front of my Rillaboom. So yeah. Yeah, I don't care about your Calm Mind here. Like, I can just Wood Hammer you, right? Wood Hammer's probably enough to KO you. If not, Grassy Glide probably still does a chunk. They could protect this turn with it. Okay, they're going to bring out Ogerpon, which means they're probably going to just follow me here. I'm going to click Substitute. And I'm going to click U-Turn into the Ogerpon, do a bunch of chip damage into it. They could Thunderclap my Rillaboom, and if that's the case, I don't really care. Okay, I get my sub up. Obviously very good for Landorus. I'm just going to Dragon Pulse, but we live this. Did more than I would have liked. But Citrus Berry is going to give us a little bit of recovery here, so we're back above half. And we do over half to their Ogerpon. After recovery, they're probably going to be at just over half, so pretty okay with that. I can bring out Entei. I can bring out Qianpao. Qianpao's really interesting here. I do have my Sash, so I'm going to be able to live any hit that they have. Icicle Crash might be enough to be able to take out the Ogerpon. Entei can come in and click Snarl here, which I think is actually the play. I don't think they're going to go for... I don't envision them going for something like... who's faster between my Landorus and Entei? Probably Landorus. 129, 167. Okay, so we're max speed Entei. Got it. So I'm going to click Earth Power. No, I'm not. I'm going to click Sludge Bomb into Ogerpon. I'm going to click Snarl. So if they go for like another Calm Mind here, I don't really care. They do just go for a Spiky Shield, so now they do Thunderclap my Entei, but that doesn't even do half. Obviously, thanks to Spiky Shield, I don't connect there. But I do connect on the Raging Bolt, so putting it back down to neutral is pretty okay for Entei. And then, of course, Sludge Bomb is going to go into the Ogerpon and not connect. But I don't see how they beat my Landorus behind a sub. Raging Bolt does go back to full. I'm just going to click Sludge Bomb again. If I E-Speed here, I think I'm going to Earth Power the Raging Bolt, and I'm going to Terra Normal, go for E-Speed into Ogerpon. This is actually going to prevent them from Thunderclapping me, notably because I'm going to be a higher speed priority than Thunderclap, so they're not going to be able to Thunderclap me. And because they protected this last turn, they're not able to Spiky Shield to prevent this damage into Ogerpon as well. So this hopefully is going to be enough to KO the Ogerpon. I think tearing here is okay. It's actually not. So if they do go for a follow me, it's kind of fine. They're gonna break my sub. Ooh, nice crit. Crit mattered definitely. Earth Power is gonna connect on the Raging Bolt and do over half. That's a +1 Raging Bolt that we just did over half to. So I could see them going for another Protect here with Ogre Pawn. I could see them going for Follow Me as well. I kind of want to just substitute with Landorus again. I don't think Extreme Speed is enough to take out the Raging Bolt. I could just Snarl this turn. I think I am going to E-Speed the Raging Bolt. If they go for a Follow Me, then it's just extra damage into the Ogre Pond enough to KO it. And if not, then I just get to do some chip damage. I should have protected. That was incorrect. I should have gone for the E-Speed into the Ogre Pond to prevent that from KOing there. Yeah, that's really well played from our opponent, and not so well played from me. Had I gone for the E-Speed into Ogre Pond, I would have had my my sub up. And then I think this endgame's pretty easy, but now we get to play some risky business. Grassy Terrain should be pretty close to being over, right? Perfect. But that's completely fine because now Rillaboom and Qianpao get to come out. Qianpao is definitely going to be able to KO the Ogre Pawn. So they should just protect this turn. Like, protect with both Mons, I think is correct for them. They still have one in the back. I'm just going to Grassy Glide the Raging Bolt. Yeah, I'm going to double the Raging Bolt. As they go for the Spiky Shield here. And then the Protect. No, they Thunderclap. Interesting. Okay. So unfortunately, I am going to attack into the Ogre Pond Spiky Shield here. Surprised to not see a Protect come out that turn. That's not a contact move, right? Yeah, so I actually don't take a recoil here. Sick. I wonder if Grassy Glide's enough to KO the Ogre Pawn from this range. It's a neutral hit. They've already Terra'd. They have their own Rillaboom here in the end game. So I can... U-turn is enough to KO the Ogre Pawn. We know that for a fact. I think I'm going to Grassy Glide the Ogre Pawn and protect this turn. And then next turn I can go for something like Sucker Punch plus U-turn. Alright. Perfect. Ogre Pawn down. And I do need to Sucker Punch this next turn. So that I can get an attack off before their Grassy Glide. Then I can U-turn, Sucker Punch. It's really good damage. Grassy Glide should take me out. So unfortunately, my U-turn is not going to be boosted by a Sword of Ruin. But I still have a super effective hit on their Rillaboom. Perfect. Okay. Nice crit. I think that crit might have mattered. But the fact that I have U-turn in this endgame and they most likely don't is good enough for me. The fact that I'm also faster with my Rillaboom than theirs, seeing how my Grassy Glide went first last turn, could be a speed tie, or I could just be faster, so I'll take it. Scoreboard. I do think it is important to, like, talk about that turn that I messed up. I think had we just gone for the E-Speed into the Ogre Pawn, that game is 100% over. Because I can just set back up a sub with Landorus, and from that end game, I don't they have Rillaboom for Landorus, but I also have Sludge Bomb for their Rillaboom, so not entirely sure if that would have mattered. But I do think that had I just taken out their Ogre Pawn, I gave up both of my Mons for essentially nothing. Okay. So yeah, some more Raging Bolt stuff here from our opponent. I think this is a Meganium game. I think I really like Meganium plus. Yeah. Well, okay, so Meganium's really interesting here. I can Terra. I don't even have to Terra. I can just go for like a Sword Stance into Stomping Tantrum, the Raging Bolt, and I'm in a really good position, I think. I want Rillaboom for Grassy Glides, and do I want Qianpao here? I don't think there's any chance they bring Rillaboom. They bring Urshifu. What does Entei do for me? I'm debating between Entei and Qianpao here. Entei's immune to Intimidate and Fake Out, which they do have multiple Fake Out Mons on their team. They do have their Incineroar for Intimidate. I already have one Mon that's immune to Intimidate. But I need something that lines up well against their Intimidator, which would be... I have Stone Edge. Yeah, I like this. I don't completely hate this, I should say. Alright. Whimsicott, Urshifu. This is really bad if they have Encore on their Whimsicott. If not, we're in a very good position. I'm just going to click Follow Me. They can set Rain, they can set Tailwind. I don't really care about anything they've got going on. They're going to withdraw Urshifu. That's probably fine for me. They're going to bring out Incineroar. Unfortunately for them, I am immune to their Intimidate. My other Mon doesn't care about Intimidate. They are going to taunt my Clefairy. Oh no, my Clefairy. Anyway, here's my Sword Stance. I can Terra Fire, which is really bad in front of Urshifu in the back, but I'm just going to Stomping Tantrum this Incin, and we're going to Hard Swap into Rillaboom. They can go for Fake Out. I don't think I care about Fake Out. Probably should have protected in front of Fake Out. So this turn works out really well until they have exactly Encore on Whimsicott. They have Encore where not in a great position overall. The fact that they have Taunt tells me they probably don't have Encore. Yeah, they're going to set Tailwind here. They can't Parting Shot into me. They're just going to Flare Blitz, which means they're losing their Incineroar. Punched. Oh, they didn't lose their Incineroar! That's really bad. Meganium, we need to talk. That was really lackluster, buddy. I'm just going to Stomping Tantrum. And I'm going to U-turn off their Whimsicott. God. No, I'm not. I'm just going to hard swap here, I think. I'm going to hard swap into Entei. Because I could see them going for a Flare Blitz into my Rillaboom, and I don't want to lose that Mon right now. They can't Parting Shot off my Meganium either, so if they want to swap, it's going to be like a manual swap. Okay, they are just staying in with their Mons, so probably going to get to pick up Ensign here. Moonblast does approximately 0%. Getting that special attack drop. Flare Blitz is going to do approximately more than 0%. But now they lose their Incineroar, so that's cool. And because I have multiple fire types out here, it should bait them into bringing Urshifu back in. Which is exactly what we want when I have a Grassy Glide Mon on my team. Yeah! They're gonna give me the Urshifu! Yeah! Alright. Alright, not Scarf one time. Not Scarf one time. Then we'll just Sacred Fire the Whimsicott. If we get like a burn, it'll KO this turn. Come on! Come on, Terra! Terra in front of me. Do it. I have a +2 Meganium. You gotta, right? You gotta, Terra. It's not gonna be enough. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Get punked. Oh. So we're up 4-1. I have a +2 Meganium. Basically a full HP. Not Flutter Mane. Man, that really sucks, huh? Well, anyway, here's multiple attacks. Meganium! We're so good! That was awesome. I love it. I love it so much. The fact that we Terra Fired to like bait them into bringing back in their Urshifu was just so good for us. It really was just like the perfect set of situations. Really interesting team. This is a matchup. Okay, so we have Indeedee plus Iron Crown, which is really sick. Chi-Yu makes that attack like even more powerful. Yeah, this is a really sick match. The problem is I don't really know how to properly combat it. I think this is a like Chiente match. Man, them having Chi-Yu is really bad for my double fire types, huh? Or my double grass types. I do think Rillaboom is the bring. And I think Landorus is just fine here. I don't think... Like... I think we want to be aggressive, and therefore, like, bringing in Clefairy doesn't really do anything for us. What's interesting about this is Entei has access to Snarl here. So Iron Crown is going to be really interesting to try to deal with. We can pivot in Entei and then go for like a Sucker Punch into that slot, maybe? I mean, we can pivot in Rillaboom to get rid of Terrain and then go for a Sucker Punch. That's unfortunately probably not going to work because they have Follow Me as well. Indeedee Urshifu. Okay. So as I have learned, we don't have enough firepower here to KO the Urshifu. So I think the play is to just pivot out, go into Rillaboom immediately here. And then I think I just want to Icicle Crash into the Indeedee. I want to try to KO it so they aren't able to set up terrain a second time. There'll be no Psychic Seed or anything triggered there, so they could be like Sash. It's probably the most common item outside. Let's look. Oh, Rocky Helmet. Interesting. Okay. Well, luckily, Icicle Crash does not make contact, so... It is immediately going for Terra Water here. Oh, Terra Stellar! Okay! Yeah, there's the Follow Me, as anticipated. It's good damage. It's really, really good damage. Please be into Rillaboom and not my Chien Pao. Dang. Okay, the fact that they went for this now means that their Stellar is no longer active on Surging Strikes, which is good for us. So, and their Life Orb as well. Really interesting. Not liking our position all that much here, if I'm being honest. Landorus faster than Rillaboom. 129, 109. Yes. So we can bring this in. We can fake out the Urshifu. Go for an Earth Power into the Indeedee. They should detect with Urshifu. And Earth Power should hopefully be enough to KO the Indeedee here. If not, we're going to be in a really awkward position, I think. Probably going to have to play this game where we, like, Terra Poison Landorus. Which isn't a bad position to be in, but not one I was anticipating being in front of the Psy Spam team. Okay, they are going to withdraw Indeedee. So we're going to get free chip on whatever comes in here. Oh, that's really good for us. That is so incredibly good for us. Yep, they detect. Fake Out goes into the Protect. Now I just get a free KO on their Chi-Yu. That's so good for us. Unfortunately, this gives them a free pivot back into their Indeedee. Which also, unfortunately, means I don't really have a great answer for it. So I think the play here is I'm going to U-turn off of the Indeedee. Terra Poison. And Earth Power into the Urshifu. I don't think this one really matters where it goes. I'm just needing... I'm needing Landorus to live a hit here. And I'm not sure if we're going to be able to. The U-turn here means that we're going to get our terrain back up, guaranteed. Yep, there's the Follow Me. Unless they have, like, Poison Jab on Urshifu, which I cannot imagine. Or I KO the Indeedee, which I also did not envision. Nor did I envision being faster than their Urshifu. They do have Poison Jab? Are you kidding me? Oh, we live. Okay. And now I still get to pivot. Anyway, here's Entei. Is their last mon like Iron Crown? It is. Obviously not great. Another booster. They're plus special attack. Very interesting. Okay. So Entei is the fastest thing between these two. How fast is Iron Crown? It's 98, which is faster than Entei, right? Oh, Entei's base 100. Very interesting. So I can actually get a Snarl off here and... sacrifice my Rillaboom? Man, I don't think I've played this game very particularly good. The fact that they're plus special attack on their Iron Thorns is obviously very good for us. Miss the Urshifu. No! I don't need it on that one. So now I'm probably going to lose both of my Mons. How did they close combat? Oh, it's still enough to KO me? I'm actually surprised that's enough to KO me from full. If Poison Jab wasn't enough to take out my Rillaboom from full. Oh, man. Should I have just protected Landorus? I really needed that Snarl to connect. I don't think I have any way of winning now. Unless for some reason I'm faster than Iron Crown. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. And they're at -1 defense or special defense. Okay. Don't call it a comeback. Because I'm not max speed on my Landorus, right? Because we know that Entei is faster. Right? Entei's 167. Landorus is 129. So they are just like no speed on their Iron Crown or their Urshifu. I feel like I shouldn't have won this game. I feel like there is no reason I should have won this game, and yet we did. Yeah, that game, I feel like I played absurdly bad, and it didn't really matter. I feel like it still pulled us just like as, like, I feel like our opponent, the way their team was built, gave us an advantage. The fact that like so many of our Mons were able to outspeed them. And I think a big part of that is because they had Whimsicott on their team. We were able to just really pressure them in a way that they weren't anticipating. All right, what did we learn today? Meganium kind of thick, kind of hits kind of hard. Okay, so we only did get one game with the Meganium sweep, but like that's literally all we needed. We were able to get off exactly a follow me and a swords dance, set up grassy terrain, bait our opponent into bringing in their Urshifu, and then Okoing them. Like Meganium, I mean, it picked up I think 2, if not 3, of the kills in that match. Yeah, 3 because we got the Stomping Tantrum KO on the instant as well. So like Meganium single-handedly won us that game. That being said, should you play Meganium over Rillaboom? No. I think Rillaboom is just the better Pokemon between the two. Being able to have Grassy Glide plus Grassy Surge is obviously very good for Rillaboom. Having like incidental recovery because of Grassy Surge is very good. Not needing a turn to set up to be able to do damage, I think, is also very good. That being said, if you're looking for a very fun team that has Meganium on it, this is it, right? The core of like Chien-Pao, Rillaboom, Entei is very, very powerful. Landorus by itself is just a huge threat, as we saw multiple times today, and over multiple videos now that we've had Landorus on. It has just been absolutely dominant every time we've played it. The Chien-Pao Entei pair up is very good if you can get it in a position where your opponent isn't threatening it, which is something that we had multiple times today where we would lead it and our opponent would lead basically the perfect counter to it, right? Which then forces us to pivot around, take extra damage, potentially lose an extra Pokemon that we didn't need to because our opponent played around it. The fact that Chien-Pao plus Entei is a pretty common core right now means that people are going to be able to be ready to play against it. So like if you're wanting to do something like that, if you're wanting to do the Chien-Entei kind of like hyper aggressive teams, be prepared to have an uphill battle. The players that you're going to play against typically are going to have experience playing against it. But that's good as a, like, if you're trying to learn this team, it's good to have people who know what they're doing to get better against it. This team's very fun. Huge shout out to Nate once again for putting this together and for letting me borrow it. If you're interested in the rental, it is of course in the top hand right. And please go check out Nate on both Twitter and on Twitch. Those links are going to be down in the description of the video. And as always, everyone, until next time, have a wonderful day, and we will see you then. Have a good one. Peace.